This is The Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Hello, Joe and Hammer with you, and it's all thanks to TCL Mobile, 2K and Bet with Joel. Hammer, another busy week in basketball and a road trip for you. How was it?
It was. Well, not great. We lost. We came second. 4 for 26. I told the girls, pack your jump shot, and we go 4 from 26 from 3. Would you believe that?
Something happening within that organisation this week.
Oh yeah,
big week. With the men as well on Thursday.
Big bounce back. Well done to the Kings.
Exactly. We'll talk about that.
Pick them to lose and then pick them to win.
I can't believe you did that, by the way.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll see the top of the table.
All right, let's get into our TCL starting five. Okay, now we hadn't planned on bringing Stop the Flop back, but
we had to.
I think we have to. You need to have a word with Deng Deng.
This is delayed Stop the Flop.
Yes.
Like,
oh, it's so bad.
Is he kidding himself? That's a fine. Don't worry about fining Vic Law. Deng Deng. This is ridiculous.
It's bad on both counts. From Vic Law's point of view, you shouldn't be doing that anyway.
You shouldn't.
Copped a banned game with an early guilty plea, took the plea, he's been fined $1,000.
It's nothing.
But from Deng Deng's point of view...
Yeah, Vic Law, he should have been fined for just silliness. But I tell you, Deng, what was he thinking? Was he thinking, I've got to exaggerate this, but just didn't line up the timing of when he got hit or what?
No, it's you don't.
We've had a few bad ones.
I presume you don't really think about it. It's just a reaction, but that's not a reaction. It's a silly one. Yeah, we have to talk about Mick Panisi, don't we?
Oh my goodness, this is one
We've got to bring this back.
Have a look at this.
So Will McDonald throws the ball at Panisi's head, and there he goes. Do you know what's really what's bad for him is that he's had a 17-year career in the league, but that's what he is remembered for.
He's on Adelaide time. He was half an hour behind. He was on that delayed reaction. Now have a look at this. Whack. Oh,
jeez.
That is not good.
Aaron Bruce, another one from the Kings that we were looking at.
That was
in the production meeting. It was quite funny.
Bruce.
On CG43 at the time as well, who I think has taken notes throughout his career.
Yeah.
Aaron Bruce as well.
Don't agree.
All right. The Kings massacre, Thursday night.
Oh, my goodness.
What were you thinking?
I got home and it was 10-0. And then there was a timeout and I was like, oh, gee, this is a rough start. They're going to have to fight back here. And then to see them go down 26-0, wasn't it?
I think so. And then 32-5 or something at quarter time.
It was just a disaster for the Kings. But it was a really good test for them to be able to come back against Phoenix.
Yes.
After that, I mean, there would have been some home truths. I know that Bogut came to town. I'm not sure whether Luke did as well, to be able to make sure they're right. I'm sure it was a bit of support for Chase too, young coach. But good on him for being able to rally the troops because Phoenix playing great basketball at the moment. To hold them to, I think it was like 70 points or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, their lowest score of the season.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff. Just something about the more ball movement, they were much more patient in offense. And their shots were dropping. Angus Glover, he was awesome.
Yeah, great story, him coming back. But they need their imports as well to be able to buy in and hopefully they get back soon.
They will indeed, I'm sure. Double overtime in the Gong. The Hawks' first home game of the season. It was a cracker.
How good a game. I didn't expect this to be that sort of game with what New Zealand was suiting up. But they've been a bit of surprise packet for me, considering the players they've got out, to be able to play this sort of basketball. And there was big shot after big shot down the stretch to be able to send it into overtime, then to send it into double overtime from both teams. High quality game. We were on the balcony of the Froling, sitting up there, the Mayor of Townsville, Shane Froling, sitting there with the whole team watching this game, and it was nothing but quality.
That was great. We talked about it on the show last week, the fact that the Dallas Mavericks had a scout there as well. So they were apparently looking at Hugo Besson, who had 20 and 8. But obviously, Duop is another name that we've been talking about who is a potential NBA candidate. Mm-hmm. He had 19 and 12. Justinian Jessup, who we know has already signed with the Warriors, he had 21 points. So just a really good showing from all the young guys.
He made some big plays too, Jessup. So, good game. And well done in New Zealand for being able to hang in there with the sort of injuries they've got.
They've been impressive even though they've not won a game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough. They're fighting outside their weight class at the moment, but giving themselves a chance, and that's all you can do.
We didn't give the Brisbane Bullets much of a chance to start the season.
Bottom three, I reckon nearly everybody had them bottom three with Tassie and Cairns. But they are
proving
good.
us wrong, yeah.
They are really, really good. They're really well balanced, playing a good style of basketball. Huge pickup, Robert Franks. How good's he been?
He has been good. He was particularly good yesterday. I actually really like the way they're defending. They look like they're defending as their intent is to defend as a unit and really pressure the ball early. And you can hear Jimmy Duncan on the sidelines as well, just screaming at them, but really getting in their ears, and they're responding. So it's great.
Good balance too. I like it when Kadee comes on and goes to that point guard spot. Sobey playing good basketball. They've got some decent bigs, mobility. Lamar Patterson, we all know what sort of player he can be when he's in shape. So playing a good role as well.
I'm trying to work out who they've got this week. Bullets hosting the Taipans, so you'd think another win in the bag.
They will
as well.
crush them.
Yeah?
Yep.
We thought that Adelaide would crush the Taipans.
You did. I didn't.
That's one for another.
I picked Cairns. All right, it's on the leaderboard.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Some significant individual performances in the NBA. How good was it to see Isaiah Thomas back?
So good.
In the league.
Well, when you look at what he did years ago, he was a superstar. So to see him out of the league, he came back. He had one game in the G League for Grand Rapids Gold, and he had 42 points in that game and 8 assists. So earned his way with a chance to be able to, shine on the bigger stage, and drops 19 points in 21 minutes.
Yeah, it's so good. And after all the everything he's been through in terms of being cut, and really he should be in the NBA.
He should be.
He's just been quite unlucky. And Josh Giddey, 2 points off of a triple-double. They sat him with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. And
18
I was
rebounds.
Watching from home, just being like, put him on the freaking court.
18 rebounds.
10 assists.
Incredible stuff, young fella. We love it.
Do you think he's going to get Rookie of the Year, or is that just too big a call?
I think it'll be tough for him, but he's got to be in the conversation. He's top 5.
Yeah.
Nice. Good on him.
All right, let's keep things moving. Yes, it is time for In-Depth Thanks to 2K. This week, Hammer, you got up with Chase Buford.
We did. Had a little bit of a shootout. Great personality. We throw a few questions at it, a bit of a laugh. And
Has he got a decent stroke on it?
Let's see whether he can shoot the rock.
Well, we're back with a 3-point shootout for the basketball show, and who other we're going to go for with Chase Buford. Welcome to the show, mate.
Hammer, thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.
Now, the way this game works, mate, is I ask you a question, you've got to give me a good answer, and then we get to shoot the shot. So, when you were announced as Sydney Kings coach, I Googled you straight away on YouTube, and the first thing I saw is a massive spray about the referees, and I'm like, this is our man. This is our man. What happened?
Sure. We got outscored 50-20 in the fourth quarter. It was our only loss all year with the fourth quarter lead. So naturally, it couldn't have been my fault. It had to be the Christian
Gave it to
fault.
him.
So I went full Jim Carrey, liar, the hair, everything. Destroyed the locker room, and you saw just a little tidbit of it.
Okay, we're going to see that soon in the NBL.
Hopefully not.
All right. All right, first shot.
Oh, get in the hole! Get in the hole! 1-0, baby. 1-0.
That's right. All right, second question. Son of the legend, Mr. Buford, not called Mr. Buford. He picked me up from the airport when I had a coffee at San Antonio. So he took me to the Riverwalk, we had dinner, just a champion bloke. What's the best memory of you growing up in that environment of a superstar player that you haven't told anyone?
Well, I'll give you a superstar Australian player that hits home a little bit. 99 NBA championship. I'm 10 years old. Spurs win in New York, first ever championship. Gazy's on the roster. He's recreating the Michael Jordan crying scene with the trophy. He's sitting there balling over it. Distinct memory from a 10-year-old me to see him there joking.
And then he would have partied like a
Oh
man.
yeah, no, I think there was probably a lot of champagne.
Lemonades everywhere. All right, number 3, mate. You're on the bench for the Bucks. You're on the coaching staff for the Bucks. You won a championship. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, was it the celebration?
Yeah, it was great. I was not responsible enough with wearing a mask, unfortunately, in the locker room and afterwards, and came down with COVID. But I told my girlfriend, or my fiance now, at the time, I said, this doesn't happen very often. It only comes around once, so we better enjoy it to the fullest. no, I don't want to touch my way ever again after that.
And then you slid your way through quarantine over here.
Yeah, exactly.
All good. Well done on that.
All right. Good one. He's back. I got hammered. He never
Say, I got hammered.
I got hammered.
Thanks, mate. Good luck for the season.
Thanks, man.
Well, congratulations.
The emoji. Bring out the emoji. Come on. You didn't expect I was going to lose, did you? I do. I have done a couple of others, so I can't talk too much.
Chase seems like a really fun guy. Yeah.
Great guy and an exceptional young coach. Like, I think he's just really good for what the Kings have done. The first session I went and watched him coach, he's just so enthusiastic. He's out there, he's got, the bags and he's in amongst it and really vocal and approachable. I think he's going to be fantastic. And I think that comes into play when you have such a bad loss and you've got a coach like that can relate to his players and come back, and they do bounce back. So good things to come. And he's going to be an NBA head coach at some stage.
Well, he's grown up in that system. He obviously was part of the Bucks championship, but prior to that, he's grown up with basketball. His dad runs the Spurs. R.C.
Buford, he's a legend in American sport, not just basketball, and the dynasty that they created. He was a young kid seeing all of those guys with Dave Robinson and Tim Duncan and
watching those guys.
He's at training, going and watching. Just go up and speak to them. They all would have known him and everything else.
Having rebounds for them and everything.
What an era to be able to grow up in, and knowledge that you gain and experience as well. Great coach.
Do you think his position here at the Kings will provide that stepping stone sooner than later? How long do you think that transition could take someone like him?
Oh, I think if you asked him, and I have said that, and he's very much focused in, no, I'm here to do a job. This is my job. He's not thinking like that. But it's a natural transition. He's getting more and more experience. He's going to get picked up in the NBA, maybe not as a head coach, but a high-level assistant coach, I reckon, a little bit like what Will Weaver did. So exciting times, and you just sort of cut your teeth in a league like the NBL, and we've shown that players, coaches, everyone's getting to the NBA.
He's has challenges so far, but as you said, they've
came through.
Yeah, made the most of it. So we'll see what happens.
Breaking all the big news in basketball with Matt Logue.
Yes, Matty Logue joins us from Zoom this week. Matt, hello to you. Now, the Logue Down, it's juicy this week. Larry Kesselman is reportedly set to sell off a portion of the NBL. Can you explain how this would work?
Yeah, Joe and Shane, a great story and potentially a big story for the future of the NBL. So recently, Silver Lake, a private equity firm in the United States, they've purchased a 33% stake in the A-Leagues, so the men and the women, for 140 million Australian. They value the A-Leagues at about $420 million, which is a lot of money. Basically, Larry has seen this and thought, well, okay, I'm not going to be here forever. How can I strengthen what I have and get in some other partners? He's going to fly to New York in the new year, and he's going to speak to a number of different firms about the possibility of buying a stake in the NBL. So, look, as I said, this is great. He purchased the league, though, guys, in 2015 for $7 million. So it poses a big question. How much is the NBL worth?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do we have any idea at this point how much he could get for it? Because you think if the A-League is being sold for that much, men and women, but I mean, what, 70 grand? 70 mil even? Sorry?
Absolutely, Joe. Potentially more. As you say, that the A-Leagues is the men and the women. The NBL is just the men. But the trajectory of basketball in the last couple of years, the ratings are up, the crowds are up. I think that'll only get bigger. I think more broadcasters and business people will get involved in the NBL as the years go on. Potentially, we might see a merger between Basketball Australia. Might say, let's get involved and let's merge the men and the women. So I think you're right, Joe.
Please.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they've got to work together, Shane, because at the moment, the NBL and Basketball Australia might as well be on opposite, polar opposite. But
the NBL's on the right track. The NBL's on the right track.
Yeah.
If they do get a big chunk of money, are the clubs any chance of being able to get a little bit of cash out of this as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, at the moment, guys, the NBL is owned by Larry Kesselman, so the majority of the profit goes to Larry Kesselman. It does not go to the clubs. The new broadcast deal, the clubs are hoping that they will, and they've been promised that they will get a slice of that pie. But going forward, that's the club's biggest concern. They're like, well, okay, it sounds great on paper with private equity potentially, but we need money as well. We need, to be a part of this. So I think that'll spark conversation, Shane, and rightly so. But I think the clubs will see more money. And if they look, if the NBL and Larry can find a private equity partner that is willing to pay a decent amount of money, like we've seen the A-Leagues, then I think the clubs will get money.
Well, good on Larry. He's done great things for the league since 2015 and
Yes,
only more things to come. Speaking of, NBL expansion has been discussed recently. Where is the most likely place that we will see another team?
Yeah, it's a great question, Joe. Recently, in the last 12 months, the NBL have received interest from a number of places, potentially a second Sydney team. Queensland's interested, although I'm not too sure about Queensland, given Cairns and the Bullets. Obviously, Victoria. I tend to think a Sydney team. I don't know what you think, Shane and Joe, but the league's got to be careful about this. It's got to be sustainable.
Well, I want to see Northern Territory. What about the fact that their whole state government get behind that? They've never had a professional team in any national league before. Surely the growth up there's a potential to get involved?
Yeah, you're on the money, Shane. At the moment, the NBL have received big interest from the Northern Territory. As you say, it is a smoky. It's outside the square. They don't have a professional sporting team, but they love their sport. You've only got to see, you look at the NRL and the AFL, and they get behind a team. The NBL has received interest from government and corporate from the Northern Territory about another team, and it's been floated to me through the likes of Chris Anthony and other people, respected voices, saying, well, imagine Paddy Mills involved with a team in Northern Territory with all these programs in the Indigenous space. And if he's a face behind that franchise, I guarantee you people would get behind a Northern Territory franchise if Paddy was involved, because watch out Scott Morrison. He'd go close to being Prime Minister, wouldn't he? So,
I feel like everybody's on that train.
Yeah.
PM Paddy Mills, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think you do a good job.
Thon Maker is a free agent on the lookout for a team. What is the latest on where he could be playing next?
Yeah, well, Thon was recently in Jerusalem playing in Europe, and that didn't work out. The NBL rumour mill's been going into overdrive that Thon would land in the NBL. My understanding is, though, there's a bit of reservation from NBL teams dating back to the pre-season guides where teams inquired about Thon, but they sort of would distance themselves a bit. He hasn't played in the NBA for a while, hasn't played necessarily his best basketball for a long time, but there's other layers there. He's one of his associates, Ed Smith. There's concerns around his involvement with Thon Maker. And then if you date, apparently Thon Maker's been put as a package deal with former NBA draft pick Anthony Bennett. And some clubs are saying, look, as that package and the drama around Thon, they're just not sure.
Cut it out. Packages? Are they kidding or what?
Not a fan of package deals?
The club's not trying to buy two players.
Yeah, it happens though.
It happens, but it shouldn't be, it's got to be this package or nothing. Thon Maker needs to start playing some good basketball.
Well, hopefully we see him out there on the court again soon. Maddie, stick around. We're going to look at some predictions shortly. Time to go crystal gazing. Maddie Logue's still with us, and we'll bring in former NBL MVP Derek Rucker as well. Gentlemen, this past round proved to be a bit of a difference maker with a few of us tipping opposing teams. So looking at the leaderboard, Hammer ahead on 16 points. The rest of us 2 behind on 14. So take that into account when you are tipping this week, that's for sure. Derek, coming to you first. The final game of round 3, it's the Kings hosting the Jack Jumpers.
Oh, this is an easy one. And Sydney Kings fans, stop DMing me. I don't hate your team. I want to see you guys play like you did the other day where you really upset my tipping and knocked off Southeast Melbourne. The Kings are going to win this game easily by 20. And I'll tell you the difference. Dejan Vasiljevic being in the lineup, Shane and Matt, it gives them a balance. It gives them a court spread that they're now able to capitalize upon. And you saw the main beneficiary of that was ex-Cooks. Now he can do his thing.
Alrighty, Hammer, coming to you now. The Hawks are hosting the Phoenix in the Gong. This is a bit of a tough one.
This is a flip of the coin. And I could quite easily see Phoenix bounce back from a disappointing loss to the Kings last week. but I'm going to go for the Hawks only because it's at home. But the Hawks haven't been ultra impressive either. They beat an undermanned Sydney Kings team a couple of games ago, and then they just fell in against a really under-strength team with New Zealand as well. They did make big shots when it counted. I expect them to continue to get better, so I'm going to pick them.
Next game up, Tassie up against the Breakers. Matty Logue, who have you got in that one?
Yeah, I'm concerned about Tasmania. Even though they're at home, I haven't been impressed with them the last couple of weeks. Obviously, the Breakers are struggling 0-5, but I think they'll welcome in new import guard Chasson Randall, and I think his injection of enthusiasm will make the difference.
The next game, there are going to be a lot of eyes on this one, Derek. It's the Kings hosting United. We know what happened the last time they met. Can the Kings bounce back?
You know what, Joe? I think the Kings are going to win this game. I think the holidays are going to take its toll on Melbourne United. Shane, you remember what it was like. You don't necessarily want to go on the road and play this game. And I think the Kings are going to take advantage and win this one and have a really good round and put themselves back up in the contention for a playoff position.
There you go, Derek predicting a 47-point turnaround on Boxing Day. Big call there. Big call you are. Okay.
So am I.
Hammer, what about the Bullets hosting the Taipans?
Oh, the Bullets have been the surprise packet, really. I like their balance. They're playing with a whole lot of confidence as well. Their big import, Franks, is at the four-man. He's been impressive. And I think they'll be too good for Cairns. Even though I did tick Cairns to be able to get that upset against the 36ers, they're not going to be the same team when they go on the road. I don't see them winning too many games when they leave Cairns.
All right, well, you're leading the tipping by 2 points. Let's hope the rest of us can catch up this week. Thank you, gents. All right, Derek sticking with us for points made thanks to Bet with Joel. Now, guys, COVID is causing absolute havoc still. Teams are decimated. Games are being cancelled. As somebody in the game and as a basketball fan, how frustrating is it to see?
Oh, it must be crazy. I mean, I thought it was really hard last season here, Shane, in the NBL. We talked about it numerous times, how much respect we had for guys with the just quick changes in the schedule. It would have driven me absolutely crazy, not knowing who we were playing, not knowing when we were traveling. And now in the NBA, you're seeing the new variant Omicron just running rampant and really sidelining a lot of guys in the leagues, not only the NBA, but the NFL, who have been really reluctant to schedule and postpone games. They're having even to do so. And the NBA, the problem is, Shane, there's not as many bodies to go around. Now they're raiding the G League, trying to find players, and it's just a mess. Not to mention, imagine what Las Vegas is going through trying to get all these lines in order. It's a very interesting time once again.
Well, frustrating for the players, the coaches, but really frustrating for the fans as well. And there's really no answers to it because some of these teams, as you mentioned, are like glorified G League teams at the moment. There's over 100 players that have been affected by the virus. So it makes it really difficult, but it's really just about the league continuing to get on with things. They want to make things happen, what teams can be able to accumulate enough wins, because it's almost like you get to the postseason and then the real season starts, the battle of the healthy teams to be able to try and win that chip.
Well, the show goes on. Now, I want to ask you about LeBron James. There's been a little bit of talk that perhaps he's fallen out of love with the Lakers and wants to go back, finish his career at the Cavs. Hammer, is this a possibility? Could we see him back there?
This is more than a rumour or a possibility. This is a reality because this is LeBron. This is what makes him tick. And I used to love LeBron. I used to be a really big fan, but it's these sort of
You should still love him.
No, I don't. If he goes back to Cleveland, he tried to play general manager. He tried to bring all his mates in and, yep, I can GM, I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to create the teams because that's what I do. So he gets his mates in. They stink. He brings in AD, realises he's as soft as tissues, and this team's going nowhere. So now he's got an eye on the future. He's like, well, I'll just sneak out the back door here. I love what Cleveland stand for. They're young. They've put a team together that's balanced. They're well coached. They're doing all these things. And he goes, oh, I want to go be part of that now. Oh, cut it out, mate.
Let me tell you something right here. Were it not for LeBron James, Shane, you wouldn't even know where Cleveland is. LeBron is entitled
I don't care where Cleveland is.
He's entitled to do anything he wants to do with respect to Cleveland. He brought them their first championship, Shane, the city's first championship since 1954. And hey, when it comes to matters of Cleveland and LA, leave it with me. I lived in Cleveland. I lived in LA. Here's the game plan. He is going to go back to Cleveland. He is going to purchase that team. That's part of the deal that he had with that scumbag owner, Dan Gilbert, when he went back to Cleveland the first time. He's going to buy the team. He and his boys, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, they're going to make that thing theirs. They're going to bring in Bronny, and you're just going to have the LeBron James Cleveland Cavaliers, and they'll win a title, Shane, in 2027. And then what will you have to say?
And I'll say it's so typical of LeBron. That's exactly, and I don't doubt that he'll do that. What about the Lakers and his GM role there?
What about the Lakers? The Lakers are fine. They're fine. He's not worried about the Lakers.
Well, hang on a second. Are the Lakers fine?
He's
what did you call
LeBron.
AD? Soft as tissues?
He is.
Is he? Out for another 4 weeks.
He is.
Joe, can I say one thing? Here's a problem, and this is out of LeBron's control. He has never been able to really get into the fiber of the LA basketball community due to COVID. And he's not going to be a Kobe. He's not going to be Magic or Kareem. He had to win that championship in the bubble, and the fans of LA really haven't established that bond. Joe, you know how important a bond is. Shane's cold-hearted. He wouldn't understand.
Cold-hearted. LeBron just goes where he thinks he can try and win a championship. That's the only thing LeBron's trying to get done. He's not going to try to build anything. He couldn't build a young team. He got rid of all of the young pieces that would give him a chance.
So where the Lakers are now, can they even make the finals in the West?
Nah. Derek will, because he's trying to get on the bandwagon of LeBron by the sounds of it, but he'll probably think they're a chance.
D-Rock?
No. There's no chance whatsoever.
Jeez.
I lost some money on them the other day. I should have followed bet with Joel.
Speaking of, do you have something from Joel this week? Or are you not prepared again?
No.
Joel, we love you. Thank you for supporting the show. I'll make sure that we have him organised next week.
No, he didn't send anything today.
Oh, it's Joel's fault.
He's finding a little, I think, like teams are coming in and out, so he needs to be on the money on the day.
Tough for the punters as
Very
well.
tough.
At the moment.
Follow Joel, I'm telling you.
D-Ruck, thank you again. Have a good Chrissy, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. See you next
buddy.
week.
That is just about all we've got time for. Special shout out to a couple of young guns in the NBL though. DJ Vasiljevic and Jack White, who made their returns after almost simultaneously doing their Achilles last season. So good to see them both back out there.
They are legit stars. Stars now, but stars of the future where they can be both franchise players, I think. And, great to see them out there. It's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, Jack White was 6 points, 8 rebounds in 17 minutes, but I think it takes a little bit of time. You just got to get, a lot more scrimmaging, a lot more games and get some momentum. In the second half of the year, both these kids are going to be going well.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for them indeed. Christmas, what you got planned?
Can't wait.
With the family?
Yeah, got the whole family. Our imports will come down. I think maybe one of their families and extended family. So, can't wait. A few drinks, something to eat.
Couple of beverages.
Bit of a snack in the arvo.
Way too much food.
Wish there was an NBL game on, but anyway, that's a different matter.
Next season, hopefully. Have a good one. Merry Christmas to everyone watching as well. Thank you, as always, to TCL 2K and Bet with Joel. We'll see you next week.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.